Hey guys, it's Tombox here coming at you with a deck profile, but before I get into that deck profile, well, I just got this from Imperium Duelist. This is the mat that I designed for them. This is the cloth mat. It is cloth, look at the back. It is very nice. I hope the autofocus kicks in. Yes, it does kick in. And it is, well, there is a giveaway for this bad boy. And, well, just go to the link down below and you can enter for a chance to win this cloth mat. I'm giving away 2 of these guys, okay? As the creator of this mat, I am allowed to give away 2 of these. So, good luck to you guys. Also, the mat goes on sale this Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Anyways, so today's deck profile is going to be about Magibullets and true Draco Magibullets. A lot of people decided not to try this out because, you know, these 2 archetypes, they don't really match up, but I believe that they do match up, and I'm going to show you guys my list, and maybe you guys can give it a try. Luckily, this deck does not use too much link, so you can even try it on Magibullet Pro right now. And let's get into it. Alright, so this is the deck list that I have for you guys. I guess I'll go over the deck list before I go into the reasoning of why I chose this. So I have double Garnet, a pair of Masterpiece. I know it's a bit of a dead draw if you have to draw a second one, but I actually don't mind opening a Masterpiece as long as I can get a Brilliant Fusion with it. So that's okay. And if I have to, I can pop with a diagram. We have Dynamite Knight of one of them because I don't run as many traps. And then we have double Ignis Heat, double Calamity. Like, why are you running 2 Calamity? Well, my deck specializes in special summoning out Casper, and the spells in this deck mainly kind of funnel into that kind of play. So I'll run a pair of Calamities. Usually people are like, but he's like a late game play. Well, it doesn't have to be a late game play if you run the correct cards. And I'll run a pair of Shooter Star. Well, sorry, not a pair, but 3, because this one also lets me get out Casper, and Casper is the most important card that I want on the field at all times. That's what I've concluded. If I have Casper on the field, I can play Magibullets. 1 Shooter Doctor, just because the Doctor is a late game, mid-game card to help me reuse some of my spells and traps of Magibullets. And usually if the pair are together, well, that means you are in a very, very good spot, because you're getting a lot of advantage just from simply activating spells and traps. And then I run 1 Max C, so the monster count is 16, not very high count, but it's good enough. Max C is Max C. Do I run any other hand traps? I would consider them actually, but for now, I'm okay. This is just an initial build after all. I might alter the build after seeing ban list, or maybe through further experimentation, then we can settle on an actual build. Now we have triple Pot of Desires, of course, being a regular spell that you can activate that generate card advantage. That works very well with Magibullets because you can trigger their effects to get you even more advantage, whether it be special summoning additional cards and drawing 2 cards from the Desires, or searching an additional card while drawing 2. It's like 3 cards in 1. That's like, whew, really good. Good plus, good plus. Then we have the Upstart Goblin, because this is one of the most free cards you can play. It's a +1 if you do it behind a Casper. It's a +1 if you do it behind a Shooter Star. It's basically a +1. It's not a 1-for-1, it's a +1 if you do it right. Now we have a pair of Terraformings. Again, these 1-for-1 cards are technically +1s if you activate it behind a Magibullet Casper. So I do like the cards. I kind of want to run 3, but then of course you get that dead draw sense. Now next up, we have a pair of Draconic Diagram. I'm not sure if the ban list is going to hit Diagram, that's why I'm only running 2. I would run additional copies so I can. And what I love about this deck is that your opponent has to deal with your engine. Now, the weakness of the Magibullet would be that they only have that 1 normal summon. They rely on Tides of the Brethren sometimes to get additional monsters out. Very much true, but with the additional normal summons available coming from the True Draco side and the additional summon from the Seraphonite, I try to force my opponent into, well, basically dealing with one regular normal summon, the tribute summon of a True Draco spell and trap, and the additional summon from the Seraphonite. So that's what I try to force my opponent into. Now I run 1 Foolish Burial. The Foolish Burial basically works very well at, well, throwing a monster away that I really don't need, but more into actually fetching me a new spell or trap, or special summoning out a Casper that I just dumped to the graveyard by activating it right behind Calamity. And speaking of that exact combo, Brilliant Fusion is also one of the reasons why I run 2 Calamity. If I have a Calamity on the field, I can activate Brilliant Fusion behind her, and therefore I will send the 2 cards into the graveyard, the Gem Knight Garnet and whatever the Casper that I'm most likely going to throw out. And then Calamity in the new chain will activate, therefore summoning out that Casper back onto the field. Therefore I get to search my Casper and get the additional normal summon. And best case scenario, I have another spell available like a Terraforming, or I already have a Masterpiece in hand. I get the additional normal summon as well. I can get rid of my Calamity, therefore putting a Masterpiece and a Casper on the field. That's, to me, a very decent combo. I'll explain that in a bit. I run a pair of Cross Dominators for the effect negation and the zeroing of attack and defense. Very, very useful card, especially against Crystal Wings and whatnot. And yeah, this overall is just a very good card in general. It answers a lot of problems. As for other spells, I have 3 True Draco Successions. I can only draw 1 or 2 cards out of this. Can't really maximize to 3 because I don't run that many True Draco, True King cards. I am currently also in traps. I am running Struggling Battle. This set does come out after, I believe, Circuit Break, so this card is available. It is just a cheesy cheese card right now. A cheesy cheese card. Just because I don't know if I can actually activate this. Usually I do have something on the board and I don't want to lose it, and Struggling Battle kind of... There's no point of activating Struggling Battle when you have more cards on the field than your opponent, because nothing really happens. It's more of a recovery card when you're losing. But for now I'm using it. But honestly I prefer Dead Man's Burst, and I might actually try out Dead Man's Burst. So this is just a trial build. I run triple Desperado. I'm not this thing, guys. It's the Desperado. This is the Trident in a trap form. Searchable, of course, through Casper. And next up, I have Continuous Spells, Magibullet, Devil's Deal. The best part about these cards is they can be activated from my hand as long as I control a Magibullet monster. And several things that you can do with this deck is that because this is a continuous trap, you can tribute it off for your True Draco monsters, and that might give you a little bit of extra synergy, especially if you don't like dealing with your opponent's back rows worth of traps and you're afraid of getting striked, or like your Masterpiece is gonna get striked. Well, you don't have to be afraid if you can tribute off one of these guys that you don't really need. And the main use of this card is to actually prevent yourself from getting Raigeki'd. Now that's mainly about it. If you get Raigeki'd and you drop this, then your opponent's screwed. You can get rid of it anyway. Your opponent was never gonna blow this card up anyway, because if they do destroy this card, you get to add yourself any Magibullet card from your deck or graveyard, I believe. Yeah, it's both. And finally, the last pair of traps would be True King's Revival. This card's great. It's just the best card, but that's the reason why I only run 1 Dynamite Knight, because I only run 1 pair of Revival. Okay, so that basically sets up the entire deck list. As for the extra deck, the main monster will be Gem Knight Seraphonite. Everyone else here is just filler. You don't really go into Link summons yet. There isn't Link monsters as good as these monsters in the main deck anyway, so... But if you do want to run Link monsters, you can put your Decode Talker in there, you can put your Proxy Dragons in there, you can put your Topologic, you can put your Firewall, you can put whatever you want, but overall you're not going to go into those monsters. Some of the monsters I have gone into would be... Shark Fortress, because of double Ignis, or Ignis plus the Seraphonite. That was actually kind of interesting, because I'm still using the exact same slot for that Exceed summon, so it was okay. But as for anything else, it's just not likely to happen. So anyways, that would be the build. Let me go over some of the combos now. So several fun combos you can do with the deck. The first thing is Brilliant Fusion, the thing that we want to tether out the most important card in the deck, which is Casper. Casper is the most important Magibullet monster by far, because he is your engine, and he is also your fetcher. And Brilliant Fusion and Foolish Burial plus a copy of the Calamity or Star will basically automatically shoot out Casper right out of the deck, so basically serving as a tour guide regardless, or serving you as a Foolish Burial plus Monster Reborn combo. Yeah, that's a pretty good way of putting it. And as long as you have 1 additional spell, whether it be a Terraforming, Upstart Goblin, or Pot of Desires, or anything along those lines, well, you're good to go. You'll have 1 spell or trap to deal with it, and honestly, if you have the Dead Man's Burst, you're very safe. And one of the best boards to put out would be a Masterpiece plus a Casper, because this can probably deal with 3 cards. What I mean by that is Masterpiece can pop a card on the field, so that's 1 card. The second card for you to deal with would be from Casper. Casper can either get a Desperado. Desperado will pop 1 card. If you activate right behind Casper, Casper will add another card to hand, which can be the Dark Bribe card, Dead Man's Burst. It can be Cross Dominator, so that you negate the effect of one of your opponent's monster, or if they try to swing into you, bam, they take like full damage and die using Cross Dominator. Or you can search a protection spell, or sorry, protection trap, such as the Devil's Deal. There's like lots of options for you to even try, so that board is actually very good. And if you get additional monsters on the board, then it gets a little bit more silly. And also, regarding Brilliant Fusion automatically gives you the setup of a Masterpiece that's spell monster immune, because you get a Seraphonite and the Brilliant Fusion is still there, and then you use Seraphonite summon to tribute off both, and then now you have a Masterpiece without even using your regular normal summon. So yeah, that's actually pretty good. Now, the other thing to note is Draconic Diagram. Diagram combo is one of the more interesting cards to play, especially if you have a Magibullet. Just because if you have a Magibullet on the field, you can activate Magibullet traps or spells from hand. And because they're spell speed 2, you get a more interesting interaction. Although normally you could just use it to pop your Revival, or you can also pop your True Draco Heritage. Here's the thing about it, is that if you activate the Diagram while you have a Casper on the field, and say there's a Trident on the field, well, he has 2 options. One, he tries to pop the Diagram, sure, but when he tries that, if you have a Cross Dominator, you can chain the Cross Dominator right behind the Casper, and then the Cross Dominator will negate the Trident, so Trident is at 0/0 effects negated, and then therefore it does not get to pop the Diagram. Diagram will now pop off the Cross Dominator that you just activated, and it was going to get sent to the graveyard anyway. Okay, so now you fetch yourself a True Draco card, a True King card, and then the Casper will now activate, because the Cross Dominator activated in the same column, and now you have searched twice, negated the Trident, just because you can. It doesn't cost you as much. So you can actually have a bit more fun with the Draconic Diagram, as long as you know how your chains work properly. And that is basically some of the combos that you can actually play with this deck. Now, I do want to say that this deck does come with its own set of weaknesses, some say from bricking, because both sides have bricking. If you draw all monsters, you're pretty screwed. In fact, you're pretty dead screwed. So drawing all monsters is really bad. I'd rather draw a handful of spells and traps than a handful of monsters, because a handful of monsters, you literally can't do anything. You're oversaturated with monsters, and therefore you're going to get punished for at least 2 turns. At least. Okay, so that is about it for this deck. I would suggest you guys to try it out. This is just an initial build. You guys can do whatever you want. Maybe wait for a ban list or something. Let me know what you guys think about the deck list down in the comment section below, and let me know what you guys would do, or what kind of engine you guys would pair with Magibullets. And in the next video, I'll probably go over the weaknesses of Magibullets and all the things that you can do to hurt them, and why I enjoyed this build the most so far. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit me up with a thumbs up. If you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, please hit the subscribe button. Until next time, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV, and I love you guys. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please drop us a like so we know we are doing a good job, and you can also subscribe to MST.TV for more fantastic videos by clicking on the button on the left. Don't forget to check out our partners at Imperium Duelist. They make really high quality mats, including some of my own limited edition release stuff. And if you want to check out one of our past videos, click here on the right. As always, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV, and I'll see you next time.